Are you an unscouted player or someone who started football late? Do this before your first touch today. A 60-second plan. 2 breaths, 3 lines, 1 action. Here's what that means. Take 2 deep breaths, in for 4 seconds, out for 6. Say 3 lines quietly to yourself. I'm calm, I'm focused, I'll play my role. Then pick 1 action to start with. Maybe it's your first pass, your first tackle, or your first run. That's how you build structure into chaos. If your life is disorganized, your game will be too. Most players don't lose because they lack talent. They lose because they lack structure. Confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you build through consistent order and routine. There's a player who has all the talents. Fast, technical, great instincts. He struggles with consistency. 1 week, he's amazing. The next week, he disappears. He shows up late to training, he gets distracted before games and says, I just don't feel confident anymore. People call him lazy. But the truth is, he isn't lazy. He's unorganized. He has no rhythm, no plan, no clear focus. Every day feels like starting from zero again. And when life feels like that, confidence always comes and goes. I used to be that player. I worked hard, but my life had no pattern. I would train hard one day, then lose motivation the next. My sleep was random. My meals were random. I told myself I'd get serious later, but later never came. And then one simple idea changed everything. If you can't put your room in order, you can't put your life in order. I'm sure you guys have heard something similar along these lines, right? And at first I thought it sounded silly, and obviously it's about discipline. What does cleaning my room have to do with football, right? But it wasn't about the room, it was about discipline, like I said. And that's so important, right? Because if I couldn't manage the small areas of my life, how could I expect to handle pressure on the field? So I started small. I made my bed every morning. I woke up the same time every day. Before training, I'd write down 3 goals. Things like communicate more or hit 10 weak foot passes or stay vocal even after a mistake. And every night, I'd spend 5 minutes writing one thing I did well and one thing I wanted to fix the next day. First, it didn't feel like it was working. It felt boring, but after a few weeks, something changed. I was calmer. I wasn't rushing anymore. I was focused before games instead of anxious. My confidence came back, not because someone hyped me up, but because I could trust myself. My actions were consistent and that created peace. That's when I realized something powerful. Structure isn't restrictions, freedom. When your day is planned, your mind relaxes. You stop wasting energy deciding what to do next. You just do the work and the work builds its belief. That's how professionals live. They don't wake up waiting for motivation. Their structure creates motivation. When you have order in your daily life, you can perform under pressure because your mind is already calm. What I want you guys to take out of this. 1, identity comes from responsibility. You don't discover who you are. You build it. You build it by taking responsibility for your role. If you're the captain, lead. If you're on the bench, prepare like a starter. If you're struggling, show up anyway. Your identity grows every time you take responsibility seriously. That's what separates professionals from amateurs. Professionals understand this. Excellence doesn't start when people are watching. It starts when you take full ownership of the little things nobody sees. In my Pitch Wisdom program, we actually talk about this a little bit more. We dive into depth. This is what we call value creation, right? In Pitch Wisdom, right? So you stop asking, what can I get from the team? And we start asking, how can I make this team better, right? Providing value for the team. When you focus on serving your team's needs, not your ego, you instantly become more respected, more trusted, and trust is what earns minutes. 2, structure builds confidence. Chaos builds anxiety, routine builds calmness. When you know what your day looks like, your brain stops overthinking. You don't have to fight yourself anymore. You just follow the structure. That's why I built what I call basically a pro day plan, right? For Pitch Wisdom, right? So every morning I do the same simple sequence, right? So wake up, hydrate myself, stretch, journal 3 intentions. Then I train with a specific goal, not train hard, but improve, with a specific goal, like, improve first touch or scan before passing. After training, I recover, eat, stretch, rest. At night, I review what went well, what didn't. It's simple, but it's predictable. And that predictability creates calmness. When your brain knows what's coming, it can stop being anxious and just start performing. That's why top players like Cristiano Ronaldo, Kobe Bryant were consistent for years, right? So year after year, they were consistent, not because they had better genetics, but because their daily systems left no room for chaos. They didn't wait to feel like working, like, oh, I feel like working today. No, they worked because it was time to work. 3, order before greatness, right? So you can't expect your mind to be clear on the pitch if your personal life is a mess of it, right? So if you're always tired, disorganized, or eating poorly, or you have distractions outside, your focus will never be sharp. Start small. Clean your space, plan your meals, go to bed and wake up at the same time. Get your body and environment under control. When you take care of the little things, you teach your brain to operate in clarity. And when the game gets intense, the clarity becomes your weapon, right? Pressure doesn't break a structured mind. It breaks a scattered one. So how to apply all of this is of what I just said, right? So step 1, right? Create a morning routine. So wake up at the same time every day, stretch, breathe, drink water, spend 2 minutes visualizing yourself, being calm and ready essentially, right? Then move. Right? Don't start the day with your phone. Start with intention. Step 2, set 3 clear goals before training. Write down exactly what you focus on. It could be, I'm training with my team, I'm going to win every duel I'm in, or I'll call for the ball loudly, or I'll use my weaker foot 5 times. Simple, specific, measurable, essentially. Step 3, review your day each night, right? So 5 minutes, that's all it takes. One thing you did well, one thing you'll fix tomorrow, one thing you're grateful for. This keeps your growth visible and builds self-belief. Step 4, choose discipline over motivation, right? So motivation fades, guys, right? But structure stays. If you're coming to a plan and stick to it, even when you don't feel like it, your brain starts to trust you. And you trust in yourself too, because you build that foundation of confidence. Step 5, guard your circle. Surround yourself with people who take their goals seriously, right? If people are a little bit distracted and whatever, it's going to cause chaos in your life, right? Remember, I told you your focus will be scattered, right? So your environment shapes you more than you realize. You guys have obviously heard this before, but if your circle is lazy or negative, you're going to copy it indirectly, even if you don't want to, right? Or even if you're trying to be intentional about it, because if your circle was disciplined, you'll level up a lot quicker. And the fact that you're not where you need to be, I guarantee you, because of your circle. Your circle is not pushing you to be where you need to be. So guys, discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect. Every time you follow through on your plan, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted. And once your mind trusts you, confidence becomes natural, essentially, right? So most players chase motivation. Professionals build systems. If you want to play your role to perfection, don't wait to feel ready. Build the structure first. Confidence will follow. And inside pitch wisdom is exactly what will help you build, and we teach a daily structure that removes chaos and trains you to perform calm, focused, and confident. Even if you started late in football, right? So you can do this as well. If you want to learn how to build a structure for yourself, build yourself as a footballer, right? Subscribe to the channel, keep learning from the videos, and I'll see you in the next one.